Thank you to Tom and to Bill for the kind words. I also want to thank the committee, the Chidos and McCarthys, the Halpchinskys, the Wenchels, Julie Slomsky, Tim Wachter, John Egg, and Steve DeHart. Thank you very much. Most of all, thank all of you for attending and giving me a few minutes of your time. It's wonderful to be here in this historical location, the Maritime Museum, home to our flagship Niagara, Erie's gem, I think Pennsylvania's gem, and one of America's treasures. Every time I'm out on the lake or on the bay and I see that ship sail by, it still brings me a thrill, and I'm sure you feel the same. Today is also a day of noteworthy historical significance. This is the 86th anniversary of the birthday of America's civil rights leader, Dr. Martin Luther King. Here in this historical location, on this historical day, I'm proud to announce that I am Ed Smith, and I am a candidate for the Court of Common Pleas of Erie County, Pennsylvania, Pennsylvania's 6th Judicial District. Thank you. We all pay very close attention to who gets elected as county executive, mayor, congressman, and yet we don't investigate with equal fervor who becomes judge. I submit to you that if you are appearing before a judge, that judge will have more of an impact on your life than who is a mayor or a county executive or a congressman. The court has a large impact on many lives in Erie County, determining cases within a large, broad spectrum, from child custody and support, civil disputes, class action lawsuits, criminal cases and punishment, adoptions, estates. Having judges with a broad, diverse background is important to the court. As with the United States Senate or United States House of Representatives or any deliberative body, the court needs to be reflective of those it represents. It needs to have judges of experience within a broad range of law. The court is a court of significant power, the power of which needs to be used as a surgeon uses a scalpel, not as a butcher uses a meat cleaver. Justice needs to be measured. It needs to be tempered. This court needs to be led by people of experience, integrity, and incredible patience who also have the unique ability to listen. I believe that my professional and personal life has taught me the skills necessary to do this job. I've been practicing law now for 30 years, mostly in the civil litigation arena. I've appeared in every venue in Erie County, from the unemployment compensation arena to the Court of Common Pleas to the federal court here as well. I've handled hundreds and hundreds of workers' compensation cases, prepared countless people for depositions and hearings, examined and cross-examined thousands of witnesses, handled diverse matters such as real estate closings, custody cases, discrimination cases, and all other sorts of disputes. I successfully prosecuted a federal class action lawsuit concerning pension rights, and I defended a potential class action suit arising out of the Pennsylvania Unfair Trade Practices Act, and prevented that case from becoming a class action suit. I've had many civil litigation attorneys who have privately told me it'd be great to have someone on a bench with civil litigation experience. I agree. In 2014, I had the professional honor of my life when I was chosen to be the Erie County Bar Association president. As president, I sat down and thought about what we do well and what needs improved. I began discussing this with my colleagues. One of them said to me, I practice in the area of municipal law. I represent the counties, the boroughs, the townships. There's really nothing for me in the bar. And I thought he was right. So we formed a municipal law section. It also occurred to me that during my 30 years of practice, we have had a huge increase in the number of female attorneys. And that influx has never been noted or celebrated in any fashion. So I began to pitch the idea of some type of event to honor this increase of women into the profession. And a young female attorney said to me that while a celebration would be great, she could really benefit from some mentoring. If she had a more seasoned female attorney to help her through her career, she thought that would be a tremendous benefit to her. and I thought that would be a great idea. The Bar Association has been in existence since 1875, and in 2014, for the first time, we formed a women's division of the Erie County Bar Association. I am very proud of that accomplishment. It will be a benefit to both the men and the women of the bar. Certainly the women of the bar are already well integrated, being partners in law firms and judges. But I think that we men need to hear from time to time what it's like to practice law from the female perspective. And I think that despite all of our advances, that women still bear the brunt of most of the child-rearing duties. Again, we men need to be reminded of this from time to time. Being a good listener is a key element of the job of judge. I hope I've shown that trait through the accomplishments of being president of the Bar Association. While practicing law, I was also asked to serve as a hearing officer for the disciplinary board. We heard cases of professional misconduct alleged against our fellow practitioners and made recommendations to the Supreme Court as to what, if any, punishment should be doled out. It is a difficult job. It's difficult to sit across from your fellow attorney and tell them because of their actions, their livelihood is now in jeopardy. But it's work that needs to be done. It's necessary for the profession, and more importantly, it's necessary for the public. Like the Court of Common Pleas, the power of the disciplinary board needs to be exercised with a degree of deftness, a degree of nimbleness, not as a bludgeon. Frankly, I think you need a few laps around the track in order to have the maturity and the experience to hold the position of judge of the Court of Common Pleas. All attorneys here will recognize an organization called Martindale Hubbell. They can be found online at lawyers.com. They list attorneys, and they also go out and seek the opinion of other attorneys as to your legal ability and your ethical standards. That is done anonymously. I have no idea who rated me. But I was fortunate enough to receive the highest rating possible, AV, which according to lawyers.com, only 8% of the attorneys receive. I believe I will be the only candidate who has that ranking. I am involved and have always been involved in community organizations, having served as a board member or officer of the Boys and Girls Club of Erie, Community Shelter Services, Second Harvest Food Bank, United Way of Erie County, and currently Erie Homes for Children and Adults. I believe that we attorneys have skills that translate easily to these community service organizations, and therefore we have a public service responsibility. It is a responsibility that I have taken seriously. At the United Way, I was chair of what was then called the Allocations Division. We determined what agencies were funded at what level. It was an important responsibility that I took seriously. Many of you serve on these boards or otherwise volunteer for these and other charitable organizations. We know of the difficulties faced by many with homelessness, hunger, poverty, mental and physical challenges, as well as substance abuse. These are many of the causes of cases that the courts deal with on a daily basis. Having served in these organizations, having witnessed these problems, again gives me, I believe, a perspective necessary to do this job. I believe that witnessing these problems and their effects on people's lives adds another layer of depth to my understanding of the problems facing those who would appear before me. I've handled hundreds of Social Security disability cases. Many of these cases, maybe most, involve people with mental health issues. Sometimes just getting them to the hearing is a major accomplishment. I understand the terrible toll that these mental health issues cause the legal system, from our prisons to our family court. To do this job effectively, you need a large amount of patience. I believe my career has taught me this skill. In 2014, we have had 10 homicides in Erie County. The police have responded to over 400 calls for involving shots fired. These are significant issues to our community and issues that the court deals with on a daily basis. I understand the court has power over people's lives, and this responsibility must be used to protect the public through imprisonment or protection from abuse orders or other means. But this authority must be used responsibly. It must be exercised carefully by people of maturity, experience, and understanding. At best, lawyers, and most importantly, judges, are problem solvers. I want to make a difference in our community and in people's lives here in Erie County. I've had a wonderful private life and a wonderful private practice. My father was a staff sergeant in World War II, fighting in Patton's Third Army. Excuse me. He fought in the Battle of the Bulge under General Patton, came home, married our mother, worked in a local steel mill, eventually rising to the rank of foreman. Our mother provided for our home life for my brother and myself. As you may imagine, if your father was a sergeant in Patton's Army and a steel mill foreman, discipline reigned supreme. I've been married to my wife, Jennifer, for 29 years. We have 2 children, Wes and Chelsea. We are blessed that they both still live here in Erie County. I recognize this race is a sacrifice to her and to them. I want to publicly thank them for support. My wife has her own successful career. I certainly wouldn't be here without her. I believe that my 30 years of practice, my handling of cases as diverse as class action lawsuits to custody cases, serving as a disciplinary hearing officer, my experience as bar president, and my experience in the community has rounded me, tempered me, and provided me with the insight, patience, and understanding to hold this position. I ask you for your vote. I ask you for your support. For this campaign to be successful, we will need both. Thank you.